Ladies and gentlemen, friends of Frisbee all around the country, welcome to beautiful Papamoa Gordon's Bratt Reserve for the 2022 New Zealand Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships. My name is Blair Munro, proudly supported by Euphoria Ultimate. I am joined, fortunately, by the one, the only Aroha here. Say hello, Aroha.
Kia ora koutou.
And we have a wonderful final for you here today. It's been a long 2 days. Teams who have worked hard to top the bottom of their regional tournaments. They have traveled here to put on a fantastic show. For those of you at home, a huge thanks to the commentators who have covered our other games up until this point. We have AUUC Flow, a very, very strong side from the North region, facing off against the Mauao Mounties, who have walked the yellow brick road, a golden path to make the finals. A home team advantage. There goes the hooter to signal the start of our game. 7 on the line for the Mounties to start us off. Flo with a last minute cheeky huddle.
Just before we crack into the game, the Mauao team here has dedicated the day to a player that unfortunately went missing and never came back, that was on their squad last year. So this game is in honour of Dave Holland for them.
And the Mounties are going to put on a fantastic show for Dave today. Really bringing out the fire. They want that home team victory. This means a lot to them to be here, to be in the finals, to put on a display for those at the field and those of you sitting at home. The signal for readiness. Campbell Jordan for the Mounties. Readings with a forehand pull, touches down a little over halfway, rolls towards the far sideline. Not a huge amount of wind at the moment, but the dominant wind direction is from the left-hand side of your screen to the right-hand side. Early center. Quick tumble gives Flo an opportunity for an early break. Cunningham with the disc. Finds Barnes. Flo looking to operate out of a vertical stack. Cunningham with a quick cut across the front of the zone. Looks to continue.
It might just be worth noting here for those that don't know, the section of the field they're playing on here is just a bit of a tunnel that's come about by the two buildings behind us here, creating just a nice swirl for the players to deal with.
And the wind working as an eighth defender for both sides. We have Readings on the near sideline, puts a high blade up. Cunningham wants the read. Just tips off the hand, no call. Great impressive bid there by Joel Laverier.
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 Those are French origins.
And just like all French things, only improves with age.
Oh, here we go. We can see Flo with their strong arrowhead zone that they've got. It's nice and tight.
Campbell Jordan puts one up. It's Barnes underneath it for the intercept. An opportunity to swing the disc back the other way. Penny on the mark. Barnes able to find Reading on the far sideline. Switches back to Barnes. Cunningham with the disc center field. Not a lot of support, manages to thread one through. It's an intercept by the Mounties. The turn goes the other way. Still 0-all in the early minutes of this game. Flo with a great strong zone, trying to take advantage of the wind, trying to force the disc to move to the sidelines where they've got an opportunity to pressure and use the sidelines as an additional defender. Jordan out of position, closed off by the zone, finds Lim near sideline. Nixon to Jordan. Puts a blade up. It's high. Tagged down by Thompson. Find Laverier for the score. Great work by the Mounties. An early opportunity opening this game up as we go 1-0 in the final match of the 2022 Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 2 in Papamoa.
Oh, we've got a small discussion happening out here.
Looks like the spirit captains from those sides getting involved, just having a cheeky discussion. Maybe a rules clarification. It's not going to affect the previous point, but just a reminder for those watching at home that Ultimate is a self-officiated game. Players take it upon themselves to learn the rules, to make calls and resolve them between themselves when on the field. That role is often supported by a spirit captain for each team, whose job it is to maintain what we in the Ultimate community refer to as the spirit of the game. A few key tenets that define the way that we interact with each other and the way that we respect our opponents. So a great pull there by the Mounties. A nice lot of roll gets the Mounties plenty of time to set up their defense.
Looks like we're just looking for a under defense here from Mauao.
Great upline cuts there. Joshua Holloway puts a big shot up. And it's brought down by number 4, Ben Chong. A great leap there to reel that one in and put one on the board for both teams, bringing us back to a tied game.
You know what, Blair? I reckon we're in for a good game here today.
I think we are in for a good game. These teams did not make the finals for no reason. Flow from probably one of the largest Ultimate clubs in the country, pulling a lot of their players from the huge student base available to them at Auckland University. Really bringing a lot of intensity. The Mounties, they came in hot with something to prove, but they've worked together, they've gelled together over the seasons. I've played against them at a couple of warm-up tournaments so far, and they just go from strength to strength. It is development, 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 and it all culminates here. Quick early point to put them on the board. No bagels here in the finals, which is always what we want to see. I've heard some rumors of Flow going to be up by 3 when the final point is called, but Mounties are going to do everything in their power to make sure that the scoreline swings the other way.
Do you happen to know what Flow was seeded when coming into this tournament?
I don't have that information handy.
I can look it up, but Mauao, they came in at 11th seed.
11th seed to make the finals is such a fantastic performance for a club that probably isn't one of the biggest names that comes to mind when you think about New Zealand competitive Ultimate, but they are seeking to change that today. Some great disc movement by the Mounties, just really patient, working the disc around this Flow zone. Campbell Jordan with a big fake to try and shift it, but there's a block right on the edge of the sideline.
From Michelle Poon.
Poon with a great flying block, just securing that. She almost can't believe it herself. Really, me? Yes, Michelle, what a great block. Are you going to make it a double-double? Put some extra happiness on it.
Oh.
No, there's a run through D by the Mounties. And a big shot goes up by Nixon.
Unfortunately, White can't quite bring that down.
Great positioning underneath it, but the wind going to carry that disc a little bit further. Flow now with a break opportunity. Setting up in a horizontal stack, trying to create channels between the downfield players and the handlers with the disc, and also stretching the depth of the field. We've got Reading center field now. Mounties looking to do a bit more person marking, some match defense, looking to isolate those individual one-on-one matchups. Jordan against Cunningham, but Cunningham gets the disc away, continues up the far sideline.
Oh, great
What a
hands
great
there.
layout to keep that one in possession. Huge fake to shift Jordan. Goes back to Poon. Out wide, near sideline. Finds Cunningham. Tries to shift the mark, sends a wobbly forehand out ahead to Chen. Manages to sneak a quick backhand upfield. McFadden had the disc. But looks like there's a turnover. Those Flow players stringing together passes faster than either Aroha or I are able to pull those names out for you. Really speaks to the depth of that team, that those players have those quick feet and those quick releases. So they're able to string together a series of passes, just a little bit overthrown as the Mounties look to play their offense back down to the right-hand side of your screen. A great red zone opportunity here for Flow, about 15 meters away from the front of the end zone. A great opportunity to maybe isolate a player, setting up in a vertical stack in the middle of field, creating a channel down the far and near sidelines. Reese Thompson on the mark, tries to shut down Reddings, who threads one through for Holder. A lot of pressure, but there's Shen. Goes wide, McFadden can't get a hand to it. Campbell Jordan, he wants to put one long. Sends it up between two players. Reddings with the intercept to Cunningham for a quick give and go. Thompson on the mark, wants to get aggressive. Cunningham near far sideline. Marked up by Nixon. Agile on the mark. Reddings with an upline. It gets looked off. McFadden's got the disc. Back to Cunningham, displaying some impressive patience in that handler space.
White with the hand block. She's very good at reading space. She's quite young too.
Nikki White, number 27, putting some amazing work in for this Mounties side. Threads one through to Reese Thompson. Had the good fortune of playing with Reese Thompson at a recent indoor hat tournament. Put in some fantastic performance. To see him really flourish and grow on the outdoor field is a huge privilege as a former teammate.
Here we go. That's what we're doing. Just need to keep that disc moving. If both teams can keep that disc moving, they'll be away.
Absolutely, Aroha. And the priority with this flow zone is to force that disc to keep moving backwards and forwards across the field rather than allowing the Mounties to really gain some depth. White with a great undercut, very close to the end zone. Jordan to Nixon center field. The momentum shifts the zone out of the way. Jordan takes a knee, keeps it just off the turf.
We're in that zone where it's really important to just maintain patience, composure, and position.
A great bid there. It's William Chen, I believe, at the front of the zone with a nice layout to secure possession back for Flow. Reddings again, amazing handler for Flow. Recent great performances at the New Zealand Tertiary Ultimate Championships. Too much pressure on the mark, but it looks like a foul has been called. So a reminder for those watching at home, we are talking about a non-contact sport. So contact on the mark would be a foul. Players are going to have that discussion. As to whether or not the throw was completed in the disc had left hand of Reddings before that contact was made. So it looks like a call has been accepted. So Thompson saying, okay, I believe that that contact may have had an impact. That's totally okay. Reddings retains possession, trying to move that mark, finds the far sideline.
Oh, good awareness from McFadden there.
Great work by McFadden, finds Poon. Chen to Cunningham, some great movement, puts a big one up, looking for Reddings. Thompson underneath it. Reddings with an early bid, the wind's gonna stop it. There's Reddings, snatches it. Snatching a goal from what looked like underneath Thompson's armpit. Flow up by one, a huge point for them. And the first break of the game after a great and very intense first several minutes.
Here we are on the replay.
Cunningham with a huge inside-out backhand. Reddings goes early, gets his footing again. Thompson goes up, but it's Redding who comes down with it. Absolutely impossible. This is why these teams made the finals. We see that a timeout has been called. I'm after 2 days on the sideline with Auckland Euphoria. Really trying to get the energy for that team to a level where we were playing incredibly well. I'm just about to lose my voice. And I am more than happy to spend the absolute last of it here in the box with you, Aroha, to talk through this absolutely thrilling final.
It might have been the most efficient and well-kept to time team talk in a timeout I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, not just in this tournament, but probably in my entire career. So timeouts typically limited to about 75 seconds. Frisbee players are known for a lot of things: their athleticism, their patience, their inability to show up to anything on time. But the Mauao Mounties really keeping everything drilled, everything really focused, including making sure those timeout discussions are held quickly, getting back to playing as soon as possible. They are not wanting the intensity of this match to drop for a second. They are doing this for you, watching at home, keeping that energy level high. You did not tune in to watch an empty field. You came here to watch Ultimate. That is exactly what the Mauao Mounties are trying to bring. Holloway with the disc for the pull. Huge backhand. It's coming high. A lot of float, plenty of opportunity for the defense to get underneath it. Touches down around 3/4.
Good chase down too.
Works the far sideline. We are seeing that flow, play in that zone again. Jordan on the near sideline, looking to shift that mark, hoping to find an opening. An unfortunate reset. The disc finds the turf. Flow with an opportunity right on the doorstep. 2, maybe 3 passes away from a score unless the Mounties can get involved and really shut that offense down. Josh Holloway had the disc. To Ben Chong again. I think that might be back-to-back scores. It's a really, really great pairing there. Flow up by 2 in the 16th minute of the game. As this is the final, we will be playing to 15. But as you at home will have heard me say countless times before across countless tournaments, the pendulum of Ultimate swings both ways. It is anybody's game until that final point is scored. So far, averaging about 4 minutes per point at the moment. These are quite long points. The fatigue does start to set in. These rosters are having to roll players through to keep those legs fresh. Those long points, really, the way we attribute to them, we tend to, is that both teams play in great defense. That is exactly what it looks like we've got here. Just speaks to the heart and the intensity and the grit that these teams are bringing. They don't want to let each other down. They don't want to let those supporters down. It is going to be a fight until the very last. Reddings again with the disc for the flow. Defensive line sends it big. It's going to cut touchdown and start to roll. Stopped early by the Mounties. Some great awareness there. Jordan, center field. Puts one low. Takes a bit of a tumble but keeps it in Mounties' possession. There's White on the near sideline. Gets a great reset, a little pressured by the zone. Wants to swing back to the other side. Has to come near sideline for Jordan. Puts one up the line. Big line drive. Reddings with a bid. It's just outside the hands of the very impressive Timothy Thompson. What a beautiful touch on that disc. A single millimeter might have had that in possession. Holloway on the far side now. Works up just outside the hands of Wary. Mounties with another chance to claw back the margin, make it a 1-point game. Jordan, calm under pressure despite the zone, puts a big forehand up. Intercepted by Holloway, a great read on that disc. One of the things that this flow side in particular has really worked on in this season is increasing their patience. It's a lot of young players. Young players in competitive Ultimate tend to really apply a lot of speed and a lot of intensity early on, but then fumble on those connections. And I think the leadership of Ben Chong and some of the more senior players on this flow side have done a really, really good job in teaching them that patience. Wind took the disc just beyond the hands, gave us back to Mounties. Jordan to Thompson.
Oh, great hand from White there for the score.
Beautiful work by Nikki White. Huge bids by Flo, but it is not enough as we take it back to a 1-point game. 3-2, still in favor of Flo, but anybody's match in the finals of our 2022 Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 2. Beautiful sunny Papamoa. I don't know, who do we have to thank for this beautiful weather today, considering that the forecast for the last couple of weeks has been thunderstorms?
Well, biasly, I'd like to claim it, but I actually can't affect the weather in any way, so...
That's not what I've heard.
No.
With a smile made of pure sunshine, having you in the booth is probably the thing that's given us the shiniest day that we could have hoped for this entire season.
Well, just for the viewers at home that can't see the clouds, about a kilometre away there are thunderstorms happening, but you'd never believe it. Now, I think what we'll see will make a difference for either of these teams is which one can control the tempo of the game, and we'll see them roll and it'll be smooth from there.
Absolutely. One of the huge takeaways from this tournament, from what I've seen so far, is that ability to just dictate the pace of a point is huge, to recognize when the defense is out of position, and you can make those quick breaks. You can take those chippy short passes to really chain some work down the field, or whether or not you need to take that second, recognize that the defense isn't pressuring you, and maybe set up some longer or more dynamic options.
Oh, we've got a zone here.
McFadden to Chong on the near sideline. Holloway. Big hammer. Brought down by Barnes. Tallest player on the field. Managed to take one just inches off the grass. Goes wide outside the hands of McFadden, but she keeps it alive. A left-handed forehand up that far sideline. Over the head of Ben Chong. Great work there. Anna Ringstead on the defense. Huge block there. Clutch play by number 97 for the Mounties. Flo looking at more of a match defense. A little bit of air bounce. It fades the far sideline. Not able to get it. Possession going back to Flo. Holloway with a big shot up. Intercepted by the Mounties.
So number 34 here is a Welsh import recently to New Zealand.
Alba. Number 34, great undercut. Great attempt to keep it off the ground, but it's not going to be enough. Flo, possession in their own half. Ben Chong to pick up. Goes wide, finds Holloway. McFadden, a little bit of a spin for the audience. Not able to secure the reset.
Looks like we're setting up in a horror. Oh, the zone has returned.
That's a great deal of play flexibility that we love to see from teams like Flo. That ability to make a good transition between a match and a zone defense on a turn is a hard thing for players to pull off, particularly when you're looking at players with a little more youth on their side, particularly those ones that can tend to favor those individual matchups. To make a call that, hey, maybe our match defense isn't working, and to apply a zone. Alba gets it inbounds. Puts one real high, but Lim is able to take that one down. Lim, cheeky fake, trying to shift the zone. Puts one high, but...
Sorry. For those at home that don't know the purpose of the zone, ideally you're trying to manipulate your offense to throwing a huge number of throws, because eventually the odds are that one will be dropped, or you are trying to get them to bait. You're baiting something to someone on the field that you know is going to bring it down. So in this sort of zone here, we're saying, no, you can't go through the middle. We're not going to let you have that. You can go around, and we're going to trap you. Then you can go around the other way. Or if you're feeling bold, bang it. And actually, our tall man down the end, he's going to eat that up all day.
Absolutely, and so that tall man in this case is Bruno Barnes, doing a great job of quarterbacking the defense. There's that high option, and that's the turn exactly as you predicted, Aroha, just forcing those passes back and forth, waiting for an opportunity to open up, to maybe frustrate the offense and really force them to send something big. And we see Mounties play with a zone of their own. McFadden center field, not able to get it to Holloway, finds Chong far sideline. Wants to rip a big one, holsters it. Ringstead closes off that reset, opens up a hole for McFadden. Great undercut there by the downfielders for Flo.
Very good work from Flo, because the other thing in a zone is that there is something that has always been given, and they have recognised that well. They're seeing that the other handler has been cut off, but actually, look for it in the middle, you've got an option. And then you can bang it.
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. Defense cannot take everything away, and in this case, the thing they couldn't take away was Bruno Barnes' ability to read the disc in the deep space. Ben Chong on the near sideline with a huge outside-in forehand, comes well out of the field of play, curves back in, an impressive bid from Alba, number 34 for the Mounties. Fraction of a second early, but that's exactly what you want from the defense, to go early to try and pressure the offense. Barnes looked a little shaky on the reception, but he was able to pull it down. 4-2, some very long points in this final. Flo with a very narrow lead. Mounties already 7 on the line.
So far in this game, there hasn't been a lot of sideline action. I'm interested to see if we're going to start ramping up now. We're getting tired with these very long points. We might be in for some sky action soon. The temperature has just dropped here. The wind is coming, and it's coming from those hills I talked of earlier, so we might actually get to see an all-weather event.
Absolutely. Hopefully before the rain comes in, we'll get to see it in the wind, picking up some of those longer options, deeper options that Flo are definitely favouring at the moment. The wind's going to get underneath them, lift them up, and we're going to see some real impressive contests. We already saw Readings come down with it over Thompson, even though it definitely didn't look like that in the first seconds. And we've seen the same again. Barnes going the other way over Alba. Nixon centre field, threads one across. Not able to keep it off the turf. Reading sends it. I think there was a hand on it. And it gets touched down out of bounds, so possession will go the other way. Nixon to pick up and initiate with some support from what looks like to be one of their developing players. Oh, great knee catch there. Threads one through. White with a great bid at the disc. A really bold move. You don't often see players willing to bid into the path of an oncoming disc, but White went for it. Unfortunately, was not enough. Wary resets to Readings. Looks off Wary on the other option. Poon with a great undercut. Finally gets rewarded. Shen to Wary in the zone, very calm, finds Readings on the around. Goes back to Wary. Readings has to take to the skies to keep that one out of the hands of White. Threads one through to Chen. And a layout bid. He goes full horizontal. Number 27, William Chen for the score. So we go 5-2 Flo over Mounties. Looks like a call was made. So we might just have to take that one back.
That was an out call there.
Okay, so the call being out. The argument from the Mounties being that Chen's first point of contact once he had secured possession of the disc was outside the field of play. We're going to see that again. That does look a little bit cut and dry. So possession goes to the Mounties. Jordan to initiate finds Nixon center field as we see that same zone coming through. Chen hungry for it. He wants it back. Leading off the arrowhead. Huge aggression, huge agility on the mark. Nixon trying to shift him. Nothing's opening up from downfield. The stall count getting high. Has to send it. A territorial pass, or as those in the ultimate community like to call it, excellent huck and D. So the roll takes it to the full field. Reddings brings it to the front of the end zone, giving the Mounties plenty of opportunity to set up their defense. Reddings puts it over the head of Wary. And Paige Campbell is not available to clean that one up. And that's what Huck and D is all about. Send it long, apply pressure on the defense. Jordan resets to Nixon. Comes wide despite a great bid by Poon, but it's not going to be enough. Slightly overthrown. Penny, I think, was the intended receiver, number 26 for the Mounties. Reddings in the coffin corner. Pressured by that zone. Penny, White, Thompson, three real aggressive defenders, but Wary cuts all the way through. Manages to work away from the sideline. Shan puts a high backhand up to Wary. Looking long. Red comfortably. Far sideline, Wary's got it again. Works back, Lashen goes wide to Reddings. The zone from the Mounties a little out of position. They're starting to slow down. That's exactly what you want from zone offense. Work them hard, make them run themselves ragged, and that creates openings for you. Just like the one we saw there. Wary and Reddings doing great work to center the disc, keep it in possession, but there it is! Huge block from number 15. The Dikembe Mutombo, not in my house, and the position goes back to the Mauao Mounties. A third of the field left to work in front of them. Jordan, a very expensive, experienced and expensive, puts a scuba across to find White. There it is, a high release forehand. Reddings gets it. Turn, position goes back the other way. Reddings sends a big one. They're going to be playing Huck and D of their own, unless Chen can get it. The pressure from Nixon, too much. White again, Reddings with a huge early bid, but it's not going to be enough. Great positioning, great read from a suspected 5-2. The score swings back to 4-3 after some calls and then some great long plays by both of these teams. There it is, a huge block, number 15 on the Mounties. One more time, not today. That was a huge play. That was exactly what set them up for that score to bring it back to a one-point game. Great positioning by Nixon again, stops Chen getting the disc. And then picks it up. Jordan has a reset. I don't need you, buddy. Puts a big shot up. Reddings goes early, but he's not big enough. Not in that moment. And White comes down with a score. It looks like a timeout has been called. So, Aroha, what do you think they're talking about in these timeouts at the moment? Flow, we're up by a few points. Mounties have rallied a bit of a comeback, which is exactly what we want to see in a final. What kind of adjustments would you be making if you were the Flow side to try and stop this Mounties momentum?
If I was Flow right now, I would be looking to put a different type of defense on, just for 1 or 2 points, just so that they can come out and not suspect or react to that. Maybe something they haven't shown they've got already today, so take away the arrowhead just for a point. maybe put away man, unless they're going to come out with fiery intensity, which we know they can bring. If they can do that and have that same intensity as that chase did at the top of their arrow, I think we'll see some turns just from perceived pressure, to be honest.
Yeah, that pressure often makes it feel like there's an extra couple of defenders on the field. I couldn't agree more. I think Flow really do need to change something up. They've got a really great pressure zone, but Mounties have shown that not only do they have those comfortable swings back and forward across the front, but they're not afraid to take those long shots and really test those deep players. We can see that Bruno Barnes isn't taking the line.
It's a very good agile line there, though, that Flow have.
Absolutely.
So this particular set of players are quite good in the handle and downfield space of creating switches that confuse the defense for a moment. So you'll see a handle cut, expect it to go because it is viable and is excellent, but they look it off and they're actually already sending the one around, and it leaves the defense lost.
Yeah, it looks like Flow will be sending out their offensive specialists. A lot of squirrely players, huge agility, a lot of confidence with the disc. And so an opportunity here for them to score and then really apply that pressure. We'll see what, if any, changes they've talked about making. Holloway to initiate, finds Chong, far sideline, puts up a big backhand. Huge closing speed. Reddings with the second bite at the apple, but it's not going to come away. And now we see the offensive line for Flow having to play defense. Mounties with a long field ahead of them, but an opportunity here to tie up the game.
Great bid there from Braden Fletcher, number 31. So it looks like we're sticking with our arrowhead, but there are some long-limbed humans in this one.
Huge long sprint by Braden Fletcher. Pressure by Holloway and Chong to shut that down. It's double Holloways on the field at the moment. Flow with a big shot of their own. Reddings with a great bid. Looks like he might have got bumped off the second attempt, but maybe recognizing he wasn't going to be able to make it. Chow and Thompson working the disc. A huge grab. That's got to be in by Braden Fletcher. Puts a big forehand up. It's floating. And it's brought down
by Timothy Thompson.
Timothy Thompson. Big Tim goes up for it. A tie game, 4-4. Huge plays by the Mauao Mounties. And now we need to see what, if anything, Flow are going to be able to do to shut down this Mauao momentum.
Oh, I quite like that, Flair.
It's
that was
not bad.
very clever. I'm sure that all the
I thought of
dads
it a
out
couple of
there
points ago,
will
yeah.
appreciate it.
Here we go. We get to see that again. A huge monster of a forehand. The wind keeps it up. And Thompson brings it down. We call that a hospital pass. Enough players under there that if there's a collision, someone's going to get sent to the hospital. The Mounties defensive line. Some great players on here, some confident throwers off a turn, but also a lot of speed and athleticism that'll give them the opportunity to generate those turns. We're going to see a huge pull. Touches down a little bit, takes a second to field. They get one pass away before the defense sets. Weary tries to find Chong, who takes to the turf, but Jordan comes away with it. Threads one through. Mounties take the lead for the second time in the game. They started up by 1. They are up by 1 again, 5-4 in this game to 15. The final match of the 2022 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships here in what was very sunny Gordon Spratt Reserve in Papamoa as the clouds come thundering in. But they do say that absence is to love like wind is to a flame. I say the same is rain is to the fire in a player's heart. So that a weak flame will be put out by the wind and the rain, but a strong flame will only burn brighter. We will see which team keeps that fire alive for the final match.
I think that's well said, Claire. Those are all the words I've got for you right now. This will be an interesting point here. So with Mauao on a comeback train situation, it's always very interesting to see how a team can respond and really pursue and be gritty and pull their heads up.
One of the things that we have seen throughout the tournament as well from the flow side, a lot of their sideline screaming nice flow, and it's unclear as to whether we're talking about the flow on the play or nice comma flow, well done team. I did ask some of their players, they corrected me, they said no, nice flow, the way we're playing is very smooth. That's kind of what we need to see from them if they want to overcome this impressive Mounties defense. Barnes in the middle of the zone, getting a lot of pressure, has to look back. McFadden gets shut off as the cup collapses, but she's able to sneak through. A little bit of a wobbly reset. Barnes has it. McFadden to Cunningham. The zone sags off a little bit, it gives him space, but as it closes up, that deep throw is no longer an option. Looks like that might have been a trip. Some great spirit there as the Mounties player makes sure she's okay. That's what we want to see. McFadden has the desk. Barnes now getting shut off, but works to find Cunningham all the way through. Kevin Yang had the desk, finds Cunningham again. Out to the far sideline for Holder. And Elise Matthews with a run-through score to tie it up. We go 5-all, 41 minutes into the game. Little cheeky field rushing from the Mountie side to keep that energy high.
Got a hand from the Mauao side. We must be talking about a zone here with just a bit of a delay.
That's the cheeky shorthand when you're on the field. The longer your opposition take to give a signal for readiness, the more likely they are to talk about a structured defense. Nice little bit of roll. And so the disc is going to have to come in from the sideline where it first crossed the playing field. It's a great opportunity for Flo to really apply pressure using that sideline as an additional defender, but they're a bit slow to set that. And the Mounties are able to quickly get the disc off the sideline. Not too far from their half. Jordan puts a big shot up looking for White again. Redding's underneath it.
Not
Great
in his
defense.
house. Not in his house.
Not in this house. Great bid by Reddings to pull that one down. White, full eyes on the disc, but it fades a little bit. Flow trying to work against the Mounties zone. It's like a cheeky ankle tap. That's Poon to Chen. To Weary, far sideline. Chong and Reddings working with Weary on that far sideline. The zone from the Mounties trying to leave a little gap. It looks like they might be trying to bait some riskier throws, but Flo seemed confident. Chipping one through to Reddings. Back to Chong. Lim. Jordan on the mark, supported by White there. High disc goes up. La Verriere shuts that one down. Great work there. Gives the disc back to Jordan. Scuba over the top.
Scuba.
Conservation of greatness. Real impressive read on the block. And just an unfortunate drop off the hands. But the disc knows who it wants to be held by, and the inside-out throw goes a little awry. Jordan gets it again. Bit of a shimmy, wants to drive up that near sideline, but it's not going to happen this time. Great work to use the width, the big backhand up. Redding's the one underneath it, and he comes down with it. Weary and Chong. Huge fake there. Threads one through again to find Chen. Straight back to Chong. Some great momentum there by Flo. Reddings just walks by. Give me the disc. It doesn't come. Where he puts it. Goes a little hop. That's White to shut that one down. Jordan with another scuba.
Oh, and a layup grab for Lavadier.
Huge grab to put another point on the board. Mounties up by 1. We're going to see that one again. White with the block. Jordan with a big scuba. Lavadier gets a thumb to it for the score. What an absolute dynamic grab, a play worthy of the highlight reels. And we'll be back very shortly with you for ULTI.TV. What a fantastic first several points brought to you by the crew at ULTI.TV. Head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/ULTI.TV. Give us your spare change. Mounties, after a huge score, up by 1, 2 points away from taking half in this final, this game to 15. Mounties to come out on defense. They've been able to pressure this Flow side despite a clearly unjustified early 11th seed.
I think actually what I've observed over the weekend is this tournament has had a lot of teams with really close competition. And so the seeds haven't meant a lot, which is a really awesome thing to have happening here in Aotearoa.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to see. We want to see competitive ultimate. I think some teams come in looking at the seedings and think a bit and maybe attribute a little bit much weight to it, but as we can clearly see, huge sky by Barnes. The seeds are not important. The seeds do not reflect the intensity that both of these teams are bringing to this game. All of the energy, all of the blood, sweat, and tears they are leaving behind on this field. Great score by Barnes for Flo to tie it up. Holloway with a huge forehand. We're going to get to see that again. Great defensive positioning by the Mounties, but it's not quite enough. Great work by Flo. Great way to see that as an option.
Are there any plays you're hoping to see here today, Blair?
Any players specifically?
No, plays.
Plays? Oh, set plays. Oh, I do love a cheeky set play. Starting my ultimate career in the Hammertron community, I wouldn't go so far as to say there's a reliance on set plays, but there's certainly a love for it in that community. I think I've got a bit of a love for that myself. Seeing some nice side stacks, I think, would be the one that I'd like to see. We know that these players have a lot of athleticism, a lot of quickness, particularly on that flow side. To pull all the players to one side and really isolate one player in the center field to see what they can do, I think that would be a huge way to for both of these teams to really display the kind of ultimate that they're bringing to this tournament. How about you?
Well, I'm always a favour of good layout D. That's all I want to see, just the simple things done excellently to the next level.
Veteran
Ooh.
timeout.
Well played.
Holloway calls the timeout for Flo.
This is a clever tempo control move.
Absolutely. Having that turn generate in the handler space means all of the offense on the flow side, having obtained possession, are all behind the disc. A quick defender will be able to put a pressure on with a stall count and really drive that stall count up early before the offense can get into position. So this is a great opportunity when the score is so tight for Flo to really set up their offense before play resumes. So to keep that stall count low, to give them some time, there's maybe just give them a little bit more edge on this next possession.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
And no one is better at growing Ultimate with us right now than these two teams on the field. The Mauao Mounties making it all the way to the final in their first hosted Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships. COVID unfortunately calling off last year's event. And to see them make the finals in their own tournament is a huge boon for them. Great work. They're doing it for each other. Matching up against the very impressive AUUC Flow. Holloway wide to Wary.
So it looks like Flo has set themselves up with an ISO handler set. And all three of these, as you described, are squirrely players. And if anyone ever wanted to see a 7 cut done well, just watch these guys as they come in, pretend it's not on anymore, and then turn the other way for it.
Huge pressure. It looks like the Mounties defense, rather than sticking to a maybe strict cup, they're really trying to encircle the player and shut down those isolation offensive players, which is really great adaptability in terms of recognizing what the threat is. Reddings has the disc on the far sideline, pops one through to Holloway, all the way through.
Oh, he's chosen his receiver well. McFadden for the score.
McFadden with a huge layout grab. Flo up by 1 point away from taking half.
Do you know what excites me about both these teams here, and I think that just proved it? The use of all the players on the field. So once upon a time back in the day, you'd see a mixed ultimate, people just use the boys. And right there we saw them look off one that was over for a 50-50 shot and relying on actually, hey, this chick's pretty good, let's just put it to her.
Absolutely. It is called Mixed Ultimate for a reason. The teams that use all of their players best are the ones that walk away with the W. And what starts with W? Women. But it is an absolute truth. One of the core concepts of Mixed Ultimate, in my opinion, is that the team that uses its ladies better is the one that walks away with the win. There are so many teams, particularly at this level, that do really overload their male side with talent and really struggle to pull together and respect the talent of the women on their team. But neither of these teams have fallen into that classic trap. They're using their ladies. We're seeing huge blocks. Nikki White scored 2 points. Ringstead with a great block earlier.
Wharehinga storming in her yard.
Huge. That was such a huge play for the Mounties. Laura Penny, Lim as well. Some great work in the handler space as well. That's the part that I want to see. I think we might have to.
What a problem.
That's one of my absolute favorite things. I think a lot of mixed ultimate teams, even the ones that have talented ladies, quite often fall into a second trap of having their ladies play in the downfield space. The boys will throw the disc to an open lady, but one of my favorite things and one of the favorite things about Euphoria is that, and the teams that we're seeing on the field today, is that the ladies are getting just as involved in moving the disc as they are in scoring the points. Wharehinga with a huge fake, finds Nixon, threads one all the way across, great use of the width. Laser beam through the middle, comes in a little low. Flow with an opportunity to take half here, but they've got a long field ahead of them and some impressive Mounties defense in their way. Holloway's going long, marked up by Nixon. Who's got it? It's Nixon! Position goes back the other way. Quick thread. Mounties on a great turn. Really keeping control of the tempo. Wharehinga on the far side's an option. Thompson through to Jordan. Really chipping away at this zone. A little bit of contact, but they have a talk about it. Nixon to Wharehinga. Holder on the mark, drops off to give the long arms of Holloway an opportunity, but it's back to Nixon. Great cover by Michelle Poon to shut down the swing to the near sideline. Not in position to do it a second time.
Look at the movement of that disc and the structure of that arrow, just making it have to go backwards and forwards.
Absolutely, the purpose of that arrowhead zone, really trying to prevent anything coming up the middle of the field, which typically is where players want to attack, forcing them to use that sideline. But Jordan, on an undercut marked by Chong, is not able to shut him down. We're on the near sideline. The zone's getting a little cramped. Jordan's got it all the way through. We'll see what happened. Looked like Poon got involved and managed to shut that one down.
It's just a leading pass, unfortunately incomplete there. That is a hard throw to catch.
And Flo send back a big shot of their own. The wind's starting to pick up. It's having an impact. An injury has been called. Reddings will take a substitution for Holloway.
You know, it must be an interesting game when you've got travelling teams seeing storm clouds, choosing to stay and fill up the sideline.
Absolutely, the sun shines down on the team, on the teams at the moment. And a turn. Flo with an opportunity to take half as we enter the 100th minute of our game. Not 100th minute. 1:00 is an hour. Sorry, folks. I can't tell the time.
That's okay. I think everyone knew you meant the hourth minute.
While we're in daylight savings time, I'm going to raise a petition to get the number of minutes in an hour changed. Readings with the desk, working with Chong, supported by Poon and Holloway in the handler space. Holloway signaling for a long shot. He knows he's unmarked, but Readings looks away, plays a little safe, finds Chong, who loves those low shots through the zone. Looks back, finds Poon, takes to the skies to get it marked by White. Chong threads one. Amazing find there for Grace Gann.
There's a noticeable difference in the way that Flow is playing at the moment in terms of their calmness. They have found it, it is back with them, and now they are just moving the disc as they want.
And that's that same fluid tempo that we're seeing. It was very patient, and then all of a sudden, pass, pass, pass. Holder, Reddings, and Chong doing a huge amount of work.
On the block for Tink Masters. But a call has been made.
Huge block there. Jordan to Nixon. Masters back to Nixon, marked by Holloway. Shuts down anything through the middle, has to go wide to find Jordan on the far sideline. Wynn settling a little bit, he's got Thompson. Support from Jordan. Has to go wide and back to find Nixon. Early to Masters. Really trying to run that zone ragged. Jordan comfortably underneath it as the disc sits in the air for a hot second. Masters again.
Now let's see who can adapt to these little drops falling from the sky now. In case anyone didn't know what I just said, I meant the rain is here.
This is textbook Waikato weather, managing to come all the way across to the Bay of Plenty. Thompson gets a feed through the middle of that zone. The disc is slowly going to get a little bit wetter. The grass is going to get a little bit slipperier. The team that adapts is the one that's going to walk away. It's a huge advantage being able to play better under weather conditions. Masters with a great aerial grab right on the doorstep. Wharehenga's got it near sideline. Finds Nixon, puts it up over the top. Intercepted by Flo. Readings with the disc to Chong on the near sideline. White, Thompson, Masters, Zhao pressuring on the defense.
Good use of the handler cut from behind coming through, just opening up gaps as the defense has to slightly adjust.
So players able to arrest their momentum once they get possession of the disc, but if it takes them a few steps to do so, that's totally okay. You chain enough steps together hitting the back of a zone from behind, you're going to walk all the way into the end zone. There is Reddings with the score. 8-6 as Flo take half. We will be back with you very, very shortly. Some have referred to me as the voice of New Zealand Ultimate, but my name is Blair Munro.
And I'm Maroha Hughes.
And we'll be back with you very soon. And we are back for the second half of the final match of the 2022 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. My name, as always, is Blair Munro.
And I'm Aroha Hughes.
And we have a fantastic match for you here, folks. AUUC Flow against the hometown heroes. Lim with a huge block for the Mauao Mounties. Huge first play out of the second half. Flow currently up by 2, but Mounties now very close to their own end zone, putting a huge shot up. And it's kept alive
by Fletcher.
Fletcher for the score. Looks like a foul has been called. So that might be a foul on the block, possibly. There's our first rumble of thunder. It's a little unclear as to, from our perspective, what exactly happened. Looked like the original attempt at defense looked clean. So we'll see that again. Yep, Fletcher kept well clear until it looked like the disc was available. Some great body awareness there from the Mounties.
I'm wondering if the foul's actually been called on
the initial
lady.
Receiver. Yeah. So that's number 66, Masters, I believe.
No, sorry, that's a trick shirt there. That's Jenna. I'm going to let you try and say this last name.
Trusilo.
Oh.
We'll give it a go.
Yeah,
hopefully we don't get in trouble for that.
That's why they pay this man the big dollars. And by that, we mean you, as you help out with your change.
By going to patreon.com/ULTI.TV, please support us bring the very best in Ultimate to your screens. Especially matches like this one.
Cool, so we've gone back with the contest now. It's not a bad outcome after 20 seconds.
Great
Timothy
work
Thompson.
Intercepted by Barnes. Great vision, trying to really use that far sideline. He sends a big hammer on a high stall count. He's trusting.
Is that our first hammer of the game?
I believe it is. And a great little tip from underneath. By Fletcher. You do, in fact, love to see it. Alba. There's Masters. To Lim on the near sideline. A little bit pinned down. Alba takes some steps back to secure possession. Threads one straight past the front of the zone. Lim and Alba through to Masters, a great find. Works back. Great grab by Lim to keep that one in hands.
Must be a bit of wind out there we can't see from
A laser beam through to Fletcher.
Will they go to work?
Puts it big. The wind pushes it to the ground. Some great territory, though, by Mounties. Great work moving the disc up. Flow responds with a big cannon. Fletcher's underneath it, but Barnes gets it just outside the end zone. Huge chase by Flow, looking to put one out. Alba shuts down those early cuts by the ladies. Looks like a stoppage because of a call. It's unclear exactly what the call is. As the thunder and wind really start to pick up. It's a gentle drizzle.
I think we're all hoping here that we can get this done before the lightning.
Barnes' momentum carried him into the end zone. Mounties call a travel. As he resets and takes his position, he calls a timeout. Same as before, a huge opportunity for the offense to really get set, to maybe make a called end zone play and close this point out for them to crack that margin a little wider. Huge show by the Mounties. Great performance in their own end zone. But Flo with the advantage now. Again, a huge just heads-up play by Fletcher to pull out of the initial bid and provide that security. And Lim again snatching a disc off the turf. But it's that huge disc by the Flo offense, finding Barnes. A lot of momentum for such a big guy. And then a veteran call. So we will be back with you quite shortly to close out this point potentially for Flo.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Alright, please blow up the ULTI.TV socials. If you like what you see, head on over to patreon.com/ULTI.TV. A subscription goes a long way towards bringing you the very best in Ultimate in New Zealand, Australia, overseas, any hemisphere you've got, we want to cover it. Flo, the second team to break the huddle after the timeout. A little more conversation. They're probably going to pull something specific, maybe an ISO play. The defense for the Mounties is going to be allowed to respond. So we will see the Flo players set their 7 offensive players as they wish first, and then it'll be the defense allowing themselves to set a 2-point game. The rain coming in a little bit heavier. As environmentally conscious as I am, thank goodness for single-use plastics keeping our equipment dry. The dinosaurs didn't die for nothing. If they could bring you discs, and they could bring you tents, and they could bring you the cameras that bring you this Ultimate. And now the conditions are changing just a little bit. Barnes was looking to isolate, he puts one up. Weary, not able to get hands to it. Goes up, manages to get touches after the bid. Fletcher's going long. Alba looks to reset instead. Finds Lim to Masters. Lim and Masters again, that same zone, really trying to pressure that disc, force it back across the field. Masters to Lim. Puts one through. Alba tries to float a leading pass. The wind carries it to the ground. An opportunity here for Flo to go up by 3. Wary center field. A real cornerstone and anchor of the Flo's offense. Barnes on the near sideline, signaling for something to develop in the deeper space. Nearly manages to get it. Mounties to come back the other way. Fletcher's going long. A little bit too much pressure from the defense means Trusilo can't get it into hand. Holloway goes long. Not able to secure a completion. Same zone we see from Flo, looking to really pressure the players with the disc and have that second line really threaten any cuts towards the disc while having the ever impressive, ever imposing Bruno Barnes cover that deep space. Fletcher's trying to test him. Elise Matthews manages to seal that downfield shot off, and the reset goes awry. Who wants it? Holloway to Wary. Holloway strikes up line right on the doorstep. There it is. Elise Matthews gets the score. Flow up by 3. Some great work by the Auckland side. But as I said earlier, the pendulum of ultimate swings both ways. It is still anybody's game. And as the conditions worsen, the team that adapts quicker to the changing conditions is going to be the team that really claws out an advantage in this second half.
Oh, there's some excitement behind us here, Blair. People are excited to see Ultimate when they are in the dry and the others are in the wet.
Yeah, that's the one. A little bit like washing. It's always most comfortable when it's dry. But while it might not look it from your camera perspective, the sidelines largely clear of players to keep them out of the dry. Handfuls of teams, handfuls of home field supporters have shown up to cheer both of these sides on. It's an exciting final, and it is a privilege for us to be the ones to bring it to you. A great roller pull from the Flow side.
Oh, we've got a veteran player joining us here on the field after we won this game.
The second Masters. Chips one up the far sideline. Tries to thread through to Campbell Jordan on an undercut, but it comes in a little low. Ben Chong to initiate, supported by Wary Reddings. Reddings faked off. Wary puts one high. Jordan over Holloway. That's the poster, ladies and gentlemen. Big backhand. Cunningham shuts it down. Turns back the other way. And it looks like Jordan's called an injury, possibly. A cheeky hammy stretch. In the immortal words of one of the greatest poets of our time, Post Malone, your boyfriend will never understand me because I'm about to pull your girl like Campbell Jordan's hammy. An unfortunate injury substitution for a really solid cornerstone player for the Mounties side. I imagine we'll see him again in a couple of points. Nixon to initiate the offense. Thompson available as a reset, but it's Masters in the middle who gets it. Puts one up for White. Takes to the skies to get it, but can't secure it. Great positioning, great read on the disc. "81 minutes into the game, 9 minutes longer before we hit our soft cap. When the hooter goes, our soft cap ends, we will finish the point being played. We will add 1 to the highest score, and then it is a flat race to that number for both teams. So if the soft cap were to go now, we would finish this point, and we would add 1 to the score. So a Flow score would mean a game to 11. A Mountie score would mean a game to 10. Great work through. Manages to find Chong to Holloway near sideline marked by Nixon. Holloway puts a low shot. It's not able to reel that one in. And these are the conditions that we were talking about. Things are a little slippery. That's not the usual Blake Holloway backhand. Nikki White's got it. Near sideline marked by McFadden. Finds Masters center field. Those gloves might have an impact. Shifts Redding with a big backhand. Puts the forehand up, but it's a turn position going back the other way for the Flow side. This is exactly what Flow want. A little bit of scrambling in that defense as they try and work past that zone. Masters on a big chase, but it's Readings who comes down with it. Just outside the zone, a little bit of patience is all that's needed. Great bid by the Mounties defense. That's big, Timmy Thompson. Doesn't want that one to go away. Great chase. Great chase on the Flow side by Brittany Cock. Masters with a wide reset.
Look at that space opening up.
Looks back to find Nixon. Big backhand goes for it. Nikki White on the chase. She's got it just outside the end zone. Where's the support, Mounties? Desperate to finish this off. Foul called. Readings accepts immediately. Possession remains with Nikki White, number 27, right on the doorstep, hoping to put an assist on the board, bring it back to a 2-point game. 6 minutes left on the clock. Nixon, a viable option for a reset, marked hard by Holloway. Goes to Wharehinga. Threads one through. There he is, big Timmy Thompson with the score. Mounties back within 2, 7 against the Flow's 9 in the final match of the 2022 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships in decreasingly sunny Papamoa as the rain sets in and the thunder crackles in the distant background. Gordon Spratt Reserve, the home to Mount Ultimate.
I'd like to share something with you, Blair.
Go ahead, Aroa.
Well, not so much with you, but for the audience at home. As the person sitting next to you, it's very hard to keep talking while being so encapsulated. You're doing a great job.
That's very, very kind of you to say. It is, well, I'm going to blame it on a childhood accident where I was hit so hard on the head that my mouth and brain disconnected. So while my eyes are doing their absolute best to take in the spectacle, I'm sitting here with pupils the size of saucers, just absolutely stunned by the level of Ultimate on display. It really does feel like my mouth is on autopilot. I bet my mum watching at home won't be happy to hear that. I was joking about the childhood accident. I've never been dropped on my head as far as I can remember, which again, not a great sign. Masters with the disc for the the Mounties for Mauao. Huge pull, a lot of edge. It's going to touch down. Nice roll. It's exactly what we want to see. Plenty of time for the defense to get into position. Slightly overthrown on the reset. Mounties with an opportunity here. Right on the doorstep, one pass away from success. How are Flow going to defend in terms of defense? We see Mounties set up a vertical stack in the middle of the zone. They might be looking to isolate one of their players that has a stronger matchup. Masters to pick up a confident throw, a veteran player, as you said. There he is!
Just basics. Basics score goals.
Fundamental ISO cut. Braden Fletcher, sorry. My eyes are too wide. I can't see anything close enough in front of me, and unfortunately the team lists are not on the other side of the field. Braden Fletcher, number 31, closes that point out to bring the Mounties back within 1. Huge play for the hometown heroes. What a game, what a privilege. This is what it's all about, folks.
How are you feeling about Flow's prediction of the score by the end of the game at this moment?
Oh, up by 3, not looking good. It's a 1-point game, 2.5 minutes left on the clock. But the person who made that prediction might be the only one upset by that upset, as Mounties within 1. What a huge honor it would be to be able to carry the trophy right back into their clubhouse. Huge work by the Mounties side, really pressuring this Flow team. The pull just beyond half. We're going to see another zone defense. Wary, Holloway and Chong to initiate the offense. Finds Poon. McFadden. Penny nearly shuts off the immediate reset, but Holloway and Chong able to keep the disc moving.
This is that line that I was talking about earlier that is just able to move things and then wait downfield, and then if you think that handlers are going to get it and they don't get it, there's something else coming through there that's probably coming straight from the back down the middle. Some would consider it a bit like a great white pack attack.
Absolutely, just taking the field bite by bite, one at a time. Not worried about one massive chomp to finish things off. Happy to nibble away at the field, nibble away at the defense and find that opening to close the score. Chong has to reset to Holloway, has to go back, around to Wary, back to Holloway, through that cup. Holloway again, puts one through to Chong for the score in the zone. Just inside the 89th minute, the final minute of the game. Flow up by 2. Looks like our soft cap is going to go during this coming point. The point having started immediately after the score. So we are in the 19th point of the game. Flow to come out on defense. As the game comes to its final minutes, we'll institute that soft cap and we will keep you apprised of the final score to win this game as that information is given to us by this next point. Holloway to Chong for the score. Up by 2. So there goes our soft cap, the formal hootering for the last few minutes of the Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships here in New Zealand. It all comes down to this. Wary with the disc to pull for Flow. We've seen huge things from Liv Wary this tournament, who has gone from strength to strength throughout the regional events, and it's really, really bringing a nice sense of calm and consistency to her teammates. Forehand roller pull, pass halfway, great tactical opportunity. It's going to give them a moment to set up that zone defense. Holloway supported by Elise Matthews. Oh, no, they are sticking to a match defense instead. Thompson gets the separation. Marked by Reddings, pinned down on the far sideline. Has to go back to Nixon, marked by Holloway. Wharehinga's an option marked by Matthews, not engaged yet. There it is. Catches the reset, threads through to Thompson again, who's burning Reddings on those undercuts. Tries for a foot block.
Well done.
Run through by Liv Wary, that's the turn. Doesn't need to reset, works fast, near sideline, sorry. Holloway puts it up for Matthews. It's not going to touch down in the hands of the intended receiver.
I think he was prepared for the wind that has since gone away.
And that is one of the tougher things, particularly as you said, we're on a tunnel right now. Those hills are going to have a huge impact on the wind. And the moment you're calibrated for the wind, because the gods of Ultimate are definitely fickle, is the instant that it drops away. Masters to Nixon. Puts a long midline drive to White. Wharehinga not available as a reset, but it goes anyway. Intercepted by Cunningham. Flow want this to be a game to 12. Wary to Holloway. Matthews with a great open cut on that near sideline. Doesn't happen. The reset goes to Weary, to Cunningham. Laser beam of a forehand. Touches turf. There might have been an incident there. Looks like no call.
I think we had a bit of a slippy and then a shoelace situation. Good to see an equipment call wasn't made.
This is what the Mounties need. A score here makes it a game to 11. Only 2 breaks away from a victory. Masters with the desk. Threads one through. Kept alive by Nixon. Puts one up for White. Early reset to Wharehinga. Good fake to move Matthews. A laser beam through. Reddings with a bid. Thompson's got it.
I'm under the impression these guys all want this point.
You'd be forgiven for thinking so, as Thompson resets to Masters. White with separation on the far sideline. Masters puts one up. Thompson over Redding. Reese Thompson, number 84, with a huge score after our soft cap, which means, as confirmed, this is now a game to 11. We take the highest score at the conclusion of that point, 10. We add 1. It is a straight race. Flow with a great opportunity now to put on their strongest offenders and close out this championship event. The Mounties needing to put an impressive defensive performance on to keep the trophy here in Papamoa.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.TV. ULTI.net.
Come on, guys. Oh, welcome back. Sorry, you've just missed a really thrilling conversation between Blair and myself about just whether the players out here are going to remember, under the intensity of a final point or a match point, depending on the outcome here, that they are just chasing a piece of plastic.
But it's that piece of plastic that really does unite us and bring us all out here to cheer from the sidelines as Flow look to initiate their offense. Alba on the mark. It's Holloway marked by Jordan. Threads one through to Holder. Chong tries to pressure upline. It doesn't go, but where he's there, security finds Holloway. He wants something in the deep space. He's winding up the forehand. There it goes, but it's off the tip fingers of Bruno Barnes. Mounties, less than half a field to go. Jordan to pick up and initiate. Puts a big backhand up. A huge bid, might have had an impact. Definitely a call made there. And we'll hopefully get to see a replay. It does look like that. Huge backhand. Both players went up. It looked like the receiver had a hand to it and had their legs taken out. The contact definitely, I would say, impacted the receiver's ability to make a play on that disc. Great intensity from the Flow side, really pressuring that defense. But just a reminder for those watching at home, it's a non-contact sport.
And then the challenge in something like this is that it's self-refereed, and those that make the decision are the ones involved. So as much as anyone can offer a perspective.
So it looks like the call will have been retracted and the turnover is going to stand. So Flow will initiate. Ben Chong looking to pick up. We see Flow sitting up in a vertical stack. Chong supported by Wary. Holloway at the front of the stack. Really great cut from the back of the stack, trying to maximize that space by Holder, but it's not going to come. Big Timmy Thompson, huge pressure on the mark, generates that turn. Jordan wants a quick break,
Oh,
but it's not going to happen.
McFadden.
Big rip from Flo. Barnes in position, he's not going to get there. This is what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen. A clash of two titans in the Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships. You might have paid for all of your seat, but you're only using the edge of it. Jordan definitely has the range to put one in the end zone if there's an option there. Penny streaking deep. Huge run through from McFadden again.
This is her point.
This is Mixed Ultimate, folks. Chong puts one through to Barnes. Pressured by Fletcher. Finds a reset to Holloway. Wary. Chong to Barnes. Inches away from closing it. Are we going to see something big? Holloway looking to get separation, but he's pinned down by Jordan. Chong. Chong through to Kevin Yang for the score. And the game. Flo, the first to take 11. What a fantastic performance from both of these sides. An amazing display by the Mauao Mounties. Could not be more proud of the home side, but alas, the victory today by 2 points, 2 measly, narrow points, is Auckland University Ultimate Club's Flo. That concludes our coverage of the 2022 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships in Papamoa at Gordon Spratt Reserve. My name is Blair Munro.
And I'm Aroha Hughes.
And we will be seeing you at the next one.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.